Namaskar. Namaskar to all, respected chairperson, chief speakers, other distinguished speakers, the organizers, and the viewers, those who are present in this virtual platform. To commemorate the birth centenary of Sri Sri Anandamurti Ji, we once again assemble here to celebrate his birth centenary, and in this regard, today's topic is very relevant, that is the awakening of women. The present status of women in the society is very degrading, very frustrating. Even if we claim that we have progressed much in the field of education, but in true sense, we are lagging behind. Sri Sri Anandamurti Ji pointed out the real picture of the status of the women, and he wanted to restore the glorious position of women in the society. He wanted to point out the root causes of the social ailments that divide the society, that oppose the societal, that take the societal movement. Because for him, society is samanam ejati iti samaja. That means when both men and women move forward to achieve a common goal, then it is society, then it is samaj. So in this endeavor, the men and women should enjoy the equal rights, because the men and women are the divine children of that supreme consciousness. This is the underlying spirit to realize or to change the attitude of the society. P.R. Sarkar tries to delineate the root cause of this gender discrimination or gender disparity that is still now is existing in the society. I will highlight, there are so many points P.R. Sarkar has highlighted, and few of them already my previous speakers have discussed, very nicely elaborated. I will discuss mainly the freedom as the birthright of each and every human being. This is number one. Number two is the dowry system and some of the customs of the marriage that is leading the women's position downtrodden. And then the next one is the inheritance of the property. And finally, what are the causes? Parallelly, I will also focus on the root causes of these social ailments and what are the remedies. As I have read many of the books of Sri P.R. Sarkar or my spiritual leader, Sri Sri Anandamurti Ji, where he has not only pointed out the causes, but also he has given the solution, the practical implementation. This is the unique thing in Prabhat Sangeet, in Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar's literature, or in every discourses. So now I'm going to point out some of the social injustices that are still prevailing in the society, and one of them is the birthright, that is freedom. Freedom, because the men and women, first we have to think that women and men are equally divine, and life for them, for women, life is not only for living a simple life, it is more than that. Animals also live, animals also living. They live only for their physical purpose, but we have a great cause to live. And what are those? Those are to express our physical, mental, spiritual, social, and economic potentialities at the maximum level. So we will call it a society. It is society when only when the men, those who are in the words of Sri Anandamurti Ji, the men are very cunningly implementing or injecting the psychic exploitation among the women, and they are paralyzing the women. They're thinking, they are just giving a parda to the thinking process of women, so they cannot liberate. Their vested interest to check the women so that their potentialities cannot be explored. In 2007, World Bank, they have published one survey on Indian economy, and they told that the smart economy is that where both men and women will contribute for the productivity of the society, where half of the society, that is women, are lagging behind when their voice are not heard, when their potentialities are not utilizing for the growth of the society. That society, the economy of that country cannot be a smart economy. So in the same tune, Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar or Sri Sri Anandamurthy ji has raised his views, has raised his voice, or he has given his opinion long back in 1980s, that women should be given proper environmental opportunity, that is the opportunity structure through which women can enjoy the freedom equally with the man. Women can enjoy the natural light, air, fresh air, and everything, earth, water, like a man. And he has told that freedom is the birthright. So freedom is restored through struggle. It is not like that. We are getting freedom as it is the gift of men. Neither it is being gifted by the men, nor it is their kind-heartedness that they are giving the freedom to the women. The women have the birthright to enjoy the freedom, and freedom is, and in this way, the men. There is no place of that type of sentimentality. The fake sympathy. He has talked about the fake sympathy that we in our last speech. Professor Triptidhar very nicely elaborated that how this theoretical assumption or theoretical discourses they are people are saying, but in true sense, practically they are not acting, or they are not behaving likewise. So some of the the fake sentiment, that is the concept of hell and heaven. We see that the concept of hell and heaven are being imposed into the women psychology, especially in case of a widow. They are forcefully opposing the remarriage of women, or even women are allowed to observe fasting. They are not only the fasting, they are allowed to observe many restrictions in their food habits, in their lifestyle. And the concept they are injecting, that if you do so, you can live in the heaven after your death with your husband. So what type of psychic exploitation is still going on in our society? It is very painful. And it is not only the painful, it is very deplorable for the women status. So he wants to glorify the women position in the society through pointing out this type of psychic economic exploitation. If women wants to regain her position in the society, first what we need, that is economic self-sufficiency. The women should not be dependent on men economically. They should be self-reliant, and then that is also there because we see in some of the community in India, suppose in Nayar, in Kerala, and in other parts where the women are economically self-sufficient, they are not giving dowry. So he has given the root cause of the dowry, because we know the dowry is still now in our society. It is there in even high society. In order to maintain the class, the status of the family, they are also considered dowry is one of the status symbol of the status. So they are in favor of the dowry. So Sri Anandamurthy ji has pointed out mainly two reasons of dowry. One is this economic liability. Another one is the second one is that when there is the number of female increases in the community, in this particular society, then women have to pay dowry, give dowry. And he has given one example in Punjab. The number of men are more than that of women. So in Punjab, in India, men are giving dowry to the women. So these two causes are still there, and another is the status symbol. Here I have seen a few of my colleagues also, they are in favor of dowry because they believe it is a status symbol. So they have a huge arrangement of a reception party. When I asked about this huge arrangement of this reception party, they very with a very high vanity, they told that it is being arranged by the bride, the family of bride. So I was astonished that what type of socioeconomic and psychic exploitation the bride herself is also accepting it. So in this way, he has given the concept of rights of the women. Another one, he pointed out that lack of purity in the mind. Lack of purity means in both the men and women, the purity in mind, it is there. We have to have the spiritual vision. We have to have the moral vision while taking the decision. We should have a wide vision, and then only we can have a inner spiritual vision or inner purity that can help us to think logically in the light of truth. What I'm doing, what I'm taking, is it good for the society? Is it good for because as I told earlier, that the half of the society is steeped into inertia. That is why he has pointed out the inner growth of women is essential. Inner growth of the women in terms of education, in terms of achieving proper knowledge, and in terms of achieving the spiritual practice, the spiritual vision, or the spiritual consciousness. So that things must be with the women to restore their position, glorious position in the society. And that is why he has pointed out the term struggle. Struggle doesn't mean only this physical fighting, struggle at the psychic level. No one will give you a ready-made freedom. Women has to struggle with their knowledge, with their with their own behavior, and with their of course the formal education is also there. So we have to regain our own dignity and respect in the society. The next one is that is the fake sympathy I have already told. Then again is the dogma. The society is full of superstition and dogma, and people are deliberately injecting all these kind of ill beliefs into the women mind. And women have a very nice thing that has been particularly pointed out by Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar or Sri Anandamurti ji in this regard, that is overflowing emotion. It is very natural phenomena with every woman. They have a very emotional development. It's very much in Sanskrit it is called koishik. Koishik means the fuller expression of emotions that is more developed in women than men. So Sri Anandamurti ji has told that taking the advantage of this overflowing emotion, men are very cunningly injecting the psychic exploitation into the mind of the women, even if they are educated, so-called education, if they have a so-called education. So we have to go beyond that sentimentality, and while taking decision. And another point regarding this koishik, as I told, that a particular type of feminine psychology, that is the love, hatred, repulsion, affection. This in Bengali we say sneho, maya, mamata, bhalobasha. So this overflowing sentimentality is present in the women, and if it is utilized properly, if it is harnessed properly, it can be many great things can be, society can get many great things, many great activities, we can get from the women. One of the example I want to give in this regard, recently, from 2013, the Panchayat, the decentralization of economic political power, it has been started in different parts of the country, and West Bengal is also one of them. After Kerala, this West Bengal has adopted 50% quota for the women participation in Panchayat, in root level, that is political decentralization of power. And I had a study on that. I had a survey on this decentralization of power of the women through panchayat, electing in the panchayat. I have found a very fantastic result that the women, when the power is given to the when the women possess the legitimate power, they utilize it for the welfare of the society. Honesty is the main cardinal principle of women life. When I asked the villagers what type of change you feel from since last when the women are competing in the panchayat election, 90% of the villagers, they agreed that the honesty is the main criteria what is being utilized by the women. Because when women are economically self-sufficient, they utilize the money for standard of living. They utilize the money for medical, for children education, for their own livelihoods. So in this way, the society is witnessed with a two-way development. What Sri Anandamurti ji has told earlier, that the women has this Kaushik or special kind of feminine psychology, which if our society can harness, society can achieve a greater result or better result in future. So that is the result of this panchayat election, where the decentralization of political power through representation of the women in the panchayat election, we have got the good results in panchayat. So now again, and the third is the dowry system. He has he has criticized this dowry system. He told that women are not commodity, that women can be handed over to the bridegroom family or guardian, that is kanyadan or sampradayan, that is giving away, throwing away something, just like a inert or just like a non-living thing, or like a commodity like rice, like sugar. So this is very painful and very deplorable for the women dignity. So he has pointed out this dowry system, this Kanyadan system, and not only that, in our Hindu marriage system, many of the customs that are being followed in marriage system, most of the customs are humiliating the women position, like covering the mouth with a betel leaf. Is so painful. Everybody is around in this auspicious occasion of marriage. People are coming with their laughing face and all, and the women just like a joker there with the heavy dress and jewelry. The women are covering their face with the betel leaf. So drawing the attraction of everybody towards her, just like a joker. So this is also somehow this is very humiliating for the women's status or for the women position as a human being. So we have to raise our voice. Nobody will come or say we have to struggle for that. We have to judge it rationally, logically. That why should we cover our face with a betel leaf? We should talk, we should see everything, like the bridegroom is also doing that one. So this type of consciousness, this type of awareness, first awareness will come, and the repeated practice of awareness can lead to the consciousness. So these things are very painful that Sri Anandamurti ji has pointed out. And what are the root causes regarding this and another one, he has told that this in case of enactment of law, Professor Shefali Pandya, she has told that enactment of law is not sufficient to restore the women's position in the society. What is essential? That is the attitude, change in the attitude of the society, and that can be done through the proper humanity, not the pseudo humanity. So this is Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar or Sri Anandamurti ji has told the pseudo-humanism, Neki Manavata. So that is, the pseudo-humanism is meaningless. It is very sweet to heart, but in true sense there is no life, or there is no the intention is not good. The motives underlying this pseudo-humanism is I'm saying something and I'm doing something, and there is something else in my mind. So there is a big difference in between my words, my deeds, and my thought. What we are experiencing in today's society, the people, those who are dominating, they want to preserve their own position. Few opportunist men, they want to preserve their own position in the society, and in doing so they are just injecting this type of exploitation. And Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar has not only theoretically given the discourse in his social, in our Anandamarga social practice and spiritual practice. Sri Sri Anandamurti has given the right of the women to become priest in our social festival, in our even in our marriage system. The didis, though just now you have seen one of our Sannasi Didi, she has sung. So these didis, they can have the power, have the right to become a priest. So Paurohitya in marriage system. So this is only found in Anandamarga philosophy. So he has always he has told that society is just like a bird, and the two wings of the bird are man and women. So if one wing is paralyzed, then the bird cannot fly. Likewise, the society cannot move forward if even the men progress with a high speed. So we have to go together, we have to march together, and for that reason, this is spiritual vision, rationalistic mentality, true humanitarian spirit, and coordinated cooperation between men and women is essential. This is the remedy he has given. Coordinated cooperation means not the subordinated cooperation. Where there is subordinated cooperation, there is a feeling that I am doing something in favor of you, so in return you have to do something, or it is a business policy, or somehow it is a dominating. Dominating men are dominating or showing us, say, fake sympathy. So coordinated cooperation is there. As I told, the nature has given one weakness to the women, that is physically they are weak. It is true. It is equally acceptable that it is well documented also that women are physically weak. Their nerves are weaker than that of men. So coordinated cooperation is there, where the weakness of the women can be overcome by the effort of the men. And in this way, a mutual movement with the same pace and speed will go forward for the greater interest of the society. So this will be the right spirit, this will be the right spirit that we need to restore if we want to regain the position, glorious position of the women in the society. And this is another point he has pointed out, that psychoeconomic exploitation that I already told, and slavery system. And in case of remedy, he has also told that free education for all women in all countries, it must be there. And in his words, I'm telling 3 remedies he has given. I'm just reading out these 3 remedies. Number 1 is to abolish dogma and liberate women from psychic exploitation. There should be free education for all women in all countries of the world, number 1. Number 2, no discrimination in the societal, educational, and religious realms. The provision of economic and social security to all women must be regained. So I am reading it out from page number 117. These are the remedies given by Sri Sri Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar. We have to bring a ridiculous, what I can say, that a change from the root level, so that the attitude of the men can be changed, and they can think rationally, and they can give the proper position of the women that is their own birthright. Neither they are gifting it, nor they are giving some favor by giving their women's rights to them. So again, I will request, this is my appeal, sincere appeal to all the moralists of the society, must come forward, unite together, to work together to regain the position of the women. And where there is superstition, where there is dogma, the moralists should unite and should raise their voice to abolish such type of dogma from the society. And we should have a spiritual vision, and for that, to remain this spiritual vision ever vigilant, we have to practice spirituality and morality. It should be the part and parcel of our life. Then only our life will be fruitful, and we can regain our birthright, freedom, and we can restore our own glorious position in the society. With these few words, I'm thankful to Dada Dibachethan Avadhut and Ms. Abira Chakraborty, who is the anchor of this program. So with these few words, I am just going to end up my namaskar.